Spider-Man fans, stand up. We are finally eating good. We finally got a release date of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's coming out June 4th, 2027, and I couldn't be more excited. And along with this announcement, they shared us a couple of frames from the movie, which they all look amazing, by the way, but there's this one frame I want to talk about, and it's this one right here. In this frame, it looks like we have Miles Morales and Miles G. Morales facing off against each other. So as per usual, I gotta overanalyze this because I noticed one little detail, so let's get right into it. Now, if you look really closely, it looks like Miles Morales is wearing sweatpants, and you notice right here, he put the Jordan 1s back on. Now, to me, this is a lot more significant than we think. Because we all know when it comes to superhero stories, when characters have access to items that remind them of their past, it's basically a reminder of who they were and why they started doing what they do. So him putting on the sweatpants and the Jordan 1s is quite literally reminding himself of who he is. So let's bring it all the way back to the first movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. In this movie, Miles Morales is just a kid and his life is literally just starting out. And because his life is starting out, he has no idea who he is as a person or who he wants to be. That's why that conversation that he had with his English teacher was very important and serves as a thesis to this said movie. Because his English teacher gives him a personal assignment to write an essay about who he is as a person, but like I said before, he doesn't know who he is yet. So the whole point of this movie is him trying to figure out who he is. And him wearing the different Spider-Man costume is a representation of him going through that process. And after all of the contemplation and self-reflection, he finally sees himself as Spider-Man. And this is when we get to see him literally create his own suit. And in turn, that gave us one of the most beautiful scenes in cinema history. The leap of faith scene will forever be one of my favorite scenes in all of film. Because if you really think about it, him accepting himself as Spider-Man is a leap of faith because it's such a drastic change in his life. But once he's accepted that, he finally realizes this is who I am, and being Spider-Man is an extension of that. Now moving on to the second movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, in this movie, he's a more established Spider-Man, more established as Miles Morales. And we even see that in his suit again. And again, he makes a suit to represent himself, and this suit represents his growth as Miles Morales and Spider-Man. Now, the thesis of this movie, in my opinion, comes from this scene right here. This is the rooftop scene where he's talking to his mother about life in general. Long story short, his mother tells him, "I love you so much and I'm so proud of the man that you become." So quite literally, she tells Miles, do not let anybody tell you who you are and what you need to be. So towards the end of the second act of the movie, he meets the Spider Society. And this is the moment where he finds out that every Spider-Man has a canon event that leads them to become Spider-Man. Which is ironic because he was already Spider-Man without the canon event, but that's a conversation for another time. So you quite literally have hundreds of Spider-Men and women telling Miles Morales that you cannot be Spider-Man because you haven't gone through your canon event yet. Quite literally telling him who he has to be in order to be Spider-Man right after his mother told him that you can be whoever you want to be. Now, this movie ends on a cliffhanger because this is where we meet Miles G. Morales. This is Miles Morales from Earth 42. And in this universe, he never became Spider-Man because he never got bitten. Number 2, his father actually did die. And number 3, he doesn't become Spider-Man, he becomes the Prowler. And why is this important? Because in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, he is going to be facing off Miles G. Morales as the Prowler. And this is why I say that this fight is a lot more significant than we think. That's because Miles Morales putting on the Jordan 1s is him going back to his old self, or reminding himself of his old self. And I'm telling you right now, this fight is going to be so impactful to both their characters. Because Miles Morales is quite literally going to fight himself. And that is symbolism of him fighting the person that everybody else wants him to be. Because like I said before, the Prowler Miles Morales is the version where his dad died. So Miles G. Morales as the Prowler is the result of his dad dying. So Miles Morales as Spider-Man beating Miles Morales as the Prowler is symbolism of Miles Morales literally fighting the odds and literally fighting what everybody wants him to be. This movie is absolutely going to be insane and I'm so excited. As per usual, stay woke, have a great day, I'll see y'all later. I'm not gonna lie, we are so back and I'm so happy that I'm just like motivated and inspired to make Spider-Man content again.